Well, this is going to be interesting. As you know, recently I've been playing around with various different Minecraft mods that change some of the more technical elements of the game, and one mod that keeps coming up in my comment section is the Create mod. That, coupled with the fact that Iskall has been badgering me to try the Create mod for the past couple months, has solidified my decision. Today is the day. I'm kind of nervous. All I've done is I've watched the trailer, and that gave me a good idea of what to expect, and now I have to work out what on earth all of this stuff is. I mean, what is... We've got a cogwheel, we've got a large cogwheel. Oh my goodness, a mechanical belt. There's a chute. A fluid pipe. There are various different types. There's a gantry carriage. What on earth is a gantry carriage? I hadn't realised how big this was. You know, I genuinely thought that it was just cogs and things. So to see there's metal brackets involved, this is not what I expected. Wow, I can ponder things. Oh, this is actually really useful. This is telling me stuff that I should have known already. By the way, if you're expecting this to be an in-depth look at the Create mod, you are sorely in the wrong place. I genuinely thought it would be a more entertaining video if I come at it completely blind and try and work all of this stuff out using my redstone knowledge and expertise to hopefully cobble something together. We'll see. I could make an absolute meal of this. Contraption number 1, a spinny thing. Here goes. Sick. Right, I think it's safe to say that that has not been so successful. Is it? Oh, we have spin. I've created some spin. I have created some spin, and it seems to be spinning okay. This is good. This is good. Now, will it spin faster if there's water going that way as well? Or am I going crazy? It is spinning faster. I actually came up with something smart. Now, according to the inventory, this thing can spin up to 16 RPM. So I've got a little speedometer right here. How do I read this thing? Does it tell me? How do I read it? Does anyone know how to read it? Apparently I need some engineer's goggles. They need to be applied so I can actually read this thing in a little bit more detail. Aha! Okay, we are at the maximum. We're at 16 RPM. This is good. And I look super cool, even though these goggles are definitely not above my eyeballs. So let's see if we can increase this RPM. So I'm assuming if I put a big old cog here, and then I put a little cog somewhere like this. Am I not able to put it... Oh, does it have to be at an angle? No, that wouldn't work, would it? Where can I put a cog? Can I put a little cog? Aha. Good. And then if I put a speedometer here, now we're talking 32 RPM. All right. Let's get a big old cog on this one. And that is still going at 32 RPM. And then a little cog. And this thing's going to be flying. This is also going to be flying. And then, I mean, how fast can we go here? Can we go to the moon in terms of RPM speeds? This is pretty ridiculous. How fast? We're 128 RPM. Can we go even faster than this? Surely this is going to start causing damage. I imagine this is... How fast can we go? Apparently that's as fast as we can go. I am no longer able to attach things to this shaft. I think we're at crazy speeds here. Oh, but I've broke it. So I overstressed. Okay, as you can probably tell, that left me a little bit baffled. But after looking a little bit through the creative menu, I've discovered that we've got kinetic stress impacts connected to some of the items, and it's a multiplication of the RPM. So currently we're at 256 RPM, and our remaining capacity for stress is 256 SUs, which means the only item that we can actually connect to this system is one with a stress impact of 1 times the RPM, and then we're using 100% of our stress capacity. If I put something like the encased fan in, which has a stress impact of 2 times the RPM, which would mean the stress would be 512 SUs, that is going to cause us to overstress the system and everything's going to stop working. Okay. Yeah, that totally makes sense. So let's use this information to create a super long piston. Here we go. If I start putting some poles in, this should start doing extending things, but I guess it's going the wrong way. So adding a cog up here has flipped the shaft around, and okay, it's still not extending. Am I missing something? Oh, this is very exciting. This is very exciting. How long can the pole be? It can be really long. That is ridiculously satisfying. That is very satisfying. Oh, and I've discovered this thing, which is called a gear shift, which allows me to change the direction that the shaft is moving in, which is very handy. The super piston. I can't help but notice I'm yet to make anything useful, but that should be about to change because I've just discovered what a gantry carriage does. Not only is it incredibly satisfying, but we should also be able to convert it into something using these. I'm not entirely sure what they do. Oh, it's working. That's doing what I hoped it would. Good. Oh, but this is even better. This is even better. Am I still going to run into the piston push limit? I mean, I'm not sure. I guess there's only one way to find out. That might just be one of the coolest things in the world. I mean, that is a proper sliding piston door. I mean, it's not even a piston door. I can't even call it a piston door. It's a gantry carriage door, which doesn't really have the same ring to it. But maybe it's just because I'm not used to saying gantry carriage piston door. I've thrown piston in there, haven't I? I've done redstone for far too long, using just pistons. Every single door is a piston door in my eyes. I've worked out how to create some vertical movement, so now we can do something with this. As you can tell, I'm not entirely sure what just yet. So currently our gear shift is powered, which means it's changing the direction of this shaft right here. And if I press this button, okay, that has rotated around in that direction. So it's rotated clockwise. Then if I unpower this and then power this, it is now rotating anti-clockwise, and it's doing it in 90-degree increments because that's what I've programmed into our sequence gear shift. So now I've connected that up into a mechanical bearing and I'm running it into some radial chassis. And if I place in some slime there and then connect these things up, yes, we are now rotating blocks. That is interesting. So if you just give me a second, we're about to do something that I've never been able to do in Minecraft before. And yes, it is another type of door, but you know what us redstone people are like. We basically only build doors in Minecraft. It actually works. Wow, that is so satisfying. That is so ridiculously satisfying. It opens so fast. That is actually quite something. I'm a fan, and it's also, I mean, if you did some compacting here, you could do something quite special. Right, let's stop it with the piston bits and bobs and the moving of things. I now want to start looking at items, because there's a huge number of item-related things inside of this modification. And is this not correct? If I put down a shaft here. Okay, the mechanical belt does not just drop on like I imagined it would. Aha! Except it does. It does do that. I just have to have another shaft. Obviously, I can't just have a mechanical belt dangling around on one shaft. Okay, so if I throw an item onto said mechanical belt, I assume... Well, that was... This is cool. Oh, and they are doing the thing that they're meant to do. They just disappear until they reach the end, but maybe that's for entity's sake. Honestly, I'm not sure, but this is good. I think it's to make it so that if you have absolutely enormous contraptions that have thousands of items going past, it's not going to be loading tons of entities, and instead, it only makes them appear at the end. If that is the case, very, very smart. This is why I don't develop mods, because I don't think of this sort of thing. Oh, that's interesting. Now that I've got a depot at the end of it, I can actually see the item on the conveyor belt, and then it ends up at the depot. And to get the item back, I have to right-click on the depot. Is this going to overload things? It feels like this is going to definitely overload things. Alright, having geared things down a little bit, I think maybe now? If I get this guy in? Yes. Yes, we have achieved the perfect pace. What's the opposite of a depot? I need the opposite of a depot, and I've forgotten what the name of it is, although a funnel sounds maybe correct, maybe. So if I right-click on this, and then right-click on this, and then place down our little arm, this thing should have targets. So if I place down a chest on this conveyor belt, our little mechanical arm is going to detect that and move it into the... What? No. I mean, I know that is so simple. You know, all you've done is... we could do this in vanilla Minecraft with hoppers at a chest, but just... Did you see what the arm did, though? Like, look at this. It's so slow, but so satisfying. That is fancy. That is fancy. Oh, this is definitely interesting. So it turns out I don't actually have to gear things down quite as much as I have been, because I can use what's known as a rotational... Is it a rotational speed anchor? I have no idea where anchor came from. It's a rotational speed controller. But that coupled with this little vertical gearbox and this little setup right here should allow me to actually compact this circuit right the way down to what you can see here. And I'm hoping that everything should work properly. So there is our mechanical arm doing mechanical arm things. I love it. I thought the game was looking weird. Can you guys see that over there? I've been questioning my own sanity and my brain the entire time recording this. I keep thinking things aren't quite right. Does anyone know what's happened? Because there seems to be like a slight desync between certain elements of the game and it's a bit weird. Frankly, I'm just glad that I'm not going totally insane. Mechanical belt, mechanical belt. Things have begun to get a little bit overstressed, so I've added one of these things in and now things are never going to get overstressed. It's a little bit cheaty, I know, but I'm just experimenting now. What I really want to do is I want to create a crusher. So this system right here, I'm going to put ores in at the front. They're then going to be transferred over into this area here, go through this chute, and then get crushed and processed. At least that is the plan of action. So if I place in a mechanical belt here and a mechanical belt here, this should be where items are outputted. So I need to connect my mechanical arm up to my ejector and then get that thing put back in place. And now we wait and see. So gold ore has gone in. It has ended up on the depot and this guy could not care less. Okay, this guy's going because he's been a pain in the backside. He has been replaced with an ejector, which seems like it will be far more satisfying. So if we chuck down the ore here, it'll go across. It'll be launched across, which is fantastic. And then gradually make its way along that conveyor belt, get crushed up, and then we end up with a little bit of gold dust and then some cobblestone. So our system has all worked properly. Now I have no idea what we can do with crushed gold ore, but I'm happy that we have it. And I'm also incredibly happy with what we've managed to suss out today. Now don't get me wrong, there are a billion things that I can do with this mod. I have not even scratched the surface, but I've had a lot of fun just experimenting with the game mechanics. I feel like I have a rough understanding of how things are meant to operate, and going forward is then just a case of working out what new components do. But I understand how the powering systems work and everything like that now, which is a huge first step. This has been very entertaining for me, very fun, very new. You know, this is a lot for me. You know, I've been building redstone contraptions for the best part of 10 years now. This is quite a big shift in the way that Minecraft technical mechanics work. But please do let me know down in the comment section if this is something that you want to see more of on the channel. I am well up for just experimenting with this further and trying to create even more ridiculous and crazy things. I mean, you could create some really crazy things with this. So let me know. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya! And at this final point of the video, I just want to apologize to everyone who is fully experienced at the Create mod and is watching what I'm doing and just hating every second. Because I'm sure I'm doing everything wrong, but that's fine. As I stated right at the very start, this was my first time using it. I thought it would be interesting to just go in completely blind, and it definitely was. I enjoyed learning, and I hope you enjoyed watching me learn.